Hi, I'm Donna Krakow, and I'd like to show you the new Affinity 3 birthing bed by HillRom. I start by showing the back of the bed and point out to the nurses that they have pushing handles to make our bed very, very mobile. They can lift the handles and remove the headboard in case they have an emergency. IV pole storage is behind your headboard here. You have roller bumpers to protect the patient's room wall. The IV sockets are on either side of the patient's bed. The nurse call cable outlet is right here, and that is an accessory feature that we have for the bed. You have a lockout switch that is one switch off and on, and it turns off all motor controls to the bed when you've got it in the off position. And lastly, and a new feature that we have with the HillRom bed, is the electrical cord that can be plugged at the head of the bed as opposed to from the head wall. And that's what the nurses would want to do. Unplug the bed from the head of the bed, leave the cord in the room, and now this bed operates under battery operation, battery function, making it great for use when you have to actually operate the bed in the hallway, en route to another room, in the OR for a C-section. You don't have to worry about plugging the bed in again. So you've got battery power here on this bed. Now I'm going to turn the bed sideways. And I ask the nurses to stand to one side of my bed for their in-service. And at this point, I'll start by showing the brake and steer mechanism. Brake and steer is centrally located. You only have to activate one side of the bed. The neutral position is where you see the pedal right now, and that allows all casters to move freely, and that's the way two people move a patient in bed. One will push at the headboard, and the other person can pull down at the end at the foot section of the bed. When you have the bed in steer, you're pushing the green side of the pedal, and we now have a caster on the right foot end to go straight only, and it prevents the bed from swaying from wall to wall while one nurse is pushing the bed with a patient in it. That's for one person to move the bed. And right now I'm going to put the bed into the brake. I'll brake the bed so it won't move for the rest of my in-service. Still showing the bed in its lowest position, I like to activate the Trendelenburg mechanism, because when you're starting from this lowest position, the nurse can use her foot, and you see and hear the bed up motor operating. So the bed is now fully in Trendelenburg, and it has come up a little bit with the bed up motor. To get out of Tren, the nurses merely lift, and that's an air assist mechanism, a gas assist mechanism, and the patient's weight really does add to the ease of the use of that Trendelenburg. I'll go ahead and show the other controls on the side rail. First of all, you have your lockout switch indicator. When the light is on, it means that the lockout switch is in place, and you won't get any operation of motors from the inside of your side rail to the outside of the side rail. None of the motors will operate when the lockout switch is on. And the second light over here is your battery indicator light. When the bed is charged, the light is on and it's solid. When the battery is getting weak and losing its charge, the light will start flashing. And when there is no battery charged, then the light is out completely. This is the bed up and down motor. And as you can see and hear, the DC drive in this bed makes for very, very comfortable and smooth and quiet movement with these motors. So this is DC drive, bed high-low. The nurse has on her own caregiver side a light indicator for activating the indirect light. When she walks into a patient's room and the room is dark, this is a nice feature for her to activate a room light that won't glare down on the patient. She has a head up and down motor and a foot up and down motor. And as you can see, all of your motors will work simultaneously. So that's a convenience and a time savings to the nurses. She has the air bladders for lumbar support to activate and deflate the air bladders. and the bladder in the seat section. And this is a fully vinyl enclosed air bladder, foam covered vinyl enclosed air bladder that is very comfortable to the entire seat of the Affinity birthing bed. You can have an auto inflate method that the nurse can activate at the time of delivery while patient is pushing or is actually ready for delivery. To stop the inflation, she pushes the negative sign. And then this is your nurse call button to activate nurse call. You have a one-step release of your side rail, and there is a dampening effect to the side rail. The side rail will now retract under the surface of the mattress. You have a built-in CPR release, and this is a gas-assisted function. With the patient's weight, it would go down into faster mode, but there is a dampening effect to that, which is a feature that we only have. And I'll activate head up again. You have pulling handles for mom to use as labor grips while she's pushing or actually in the delivery mode. And your release is a simple bar release. This is a new option with our Affinity 3 bed, a new addition to the Affinity 3 bed. We've got an accessory outlet that supports a 12 voltage jack for future use of HillRom accessories for the Affinity bed. The inside side rails for patient use have the patient bed controls angled towards the patient to provide point of care side-com controls. This angling makes for ease of reach and use by the patient. She can activate the nurse call button, and there is a backlight to this button at night so the patient won't lose her nurse call button. She has head up and down, foot up and down, indirect and direct lighting. Again, the patient can activate the air bladders to provide firmness in the seat section and lumbar support. And we now have a new TV control that allows you to turn, universal television control allows you to turn the television on and off with this button, but do channel up and channel down with the separate buttons here, so they don't have to go through the whole series of television channels. Here's her volume control for the speaker. The speaker is built in. A new feature to the HillRom bed is the closeness that our side rails are to the mattress. There are no more gaps between the mattress and the side rail, and it gives a luxury 39-inch wide total bed width to get easily through all hospital doors. Our standard hospital door is 4 feet wide, 48 inches, so 39-inch bed width is very, very simple for the nurses to get through. We'll go ahead and turn the bed to face you a little and show use of the foot end of the bed, breaking the bed for delivery purposes. When the patient is ready to deliver, I ask the nurses to elevate the bed to a comfortable height for the practitioner, fold the wings of the foot section in, and allow the patient to place her feet right on the wings of the bed. And very easily, you will grasp the curved bars at the end of the foot supports and pivot and move to an upward position your foot supports. At the point of delivery, the caregiver reaches down, bends at the knee, and lifts the foot section off. It will stand on its own off to the side of the bed. If you want additional adjustment for foot section up or down, and don't forget your mother's pulling handles. The placenta basin is available for use, and it can be turned around. Okay. to reassemble the bed after the delivery, the nurse lifts the foot section with mom's legs still in their foot supports. She now transfers the legs from the foot supports to the wings of the mattress, and then again pivots down and inwardly with your foot supports. For this patient to use calf supports, once again, I'll start by folding the wings of the bed, the foot section mattress in. Let the patient rest her feet on the wings of the mattress, and one side at a time, I will lift the foot support and pivot the calf support inwardly and adjust it with the wing nut. At this point, if your in-service is finished, the nurses now know how to operate the bed. But if they can give you any additional time, I'd like to offer some labor, pushing, and delivery positions. So we'll put the bed back together. And I go in the order that a laboring patient would use the Affinity bed. So we'll start with a patient who's in active labor, and one of the nicest features about the V-cutout model of this bed is that there is the convenience of using the nurse's specimen hat under the surface of the mattress or just under the edge of the patient for urinating purposes. A luxury of the nurses, a convenience to the nurses. This is something that makes living with a birthing bed, especially for a patient who's had an epidural, very, very easy. Actually, the patient can rest right on top of this, or as I said, you can hold it in place by placing it under the ridge of the mattress. So this is a nice feature. If you have the V-cutout bed, please remember to show this. And this is just a disposable product that you'll find on the nurses, at the nurses' storage area. Ask one of your nurses for a specimen hat. If your patient is using a left lateral position to labor in, it's very helpful to the nurses when they know that they can support the patient by making use of a calf support, so the patient is not expected to hold her own leg in place while she's in a side-lying position. And at this point, I'll get in the bed so you can see what I'm demonstrating here. With the patient's lower leg on the wing of the mattress, she can now drape her upper leg over the calf support, and this will help to support her while she's in labor. She has all adjustments right here at the point of care side on her side controls, and this is a very comfortable side-lying position. The nurses don't have to work too hard to accomplish this. For those patients who want to consider the use of a labor support bar, a labor bar fits in the foot section sockets of the Affinity 3 bed. And at this point, the nurses will allow the patient to actually squat with this bar, or use a sheet or towel for pulling purposes so that the patient can actually bear down and pull with this while she's pushing. Or if she's had an epidural block and she finds it inconvenient to hold her own legs up, she can have her legs supported on the labor bar this way. Several different ways to use the labor bar. I also like to show that the labor bar can be reversed to the opposite direction. And your patient can kneel while leaning on her labor bar, or you can use the labor bar as a patient would lean against a wall or corridor, and that's comfortable for her. After I have finished in-servicing the nursing staff, I also invite the housekeeping staff to come to the in-service because it's very important that they know how to take the bed apart and do a full cleaning of the bed. And I'm going to show you this briefly. Housekeeping staff prefers approaching any bed at a high position so they're not hurting their backs. I ask them to look under the surface of the bed and find where the compressor tubes are. These are the tubes that will inflate the air bladders in the mattress. Well, they have to disconnect the compressor tubes. So they take care of one side, release their side rail, and then reach underneath of the surface of the mattress and unsnap one half of their mattress. They can go ahead and turn around to the other side of the bed, unsnap, and release that compressor tube again. And your upper mattress is now removable that easily. The lower mattress needs to be unsnapped and then this piece comes off very easily. Because of the seal we have around our ballasts, they shouldn't have any difficulties with cleaning these areas. These are all nice flat surfaces. And I want to thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please call us here at HillRom and reference your in-service manual also. Thank you.